Now that we know SOHCAHTOA, and that's our new favorite thing up there at the top of our paper, we can solve for some triangles while using trigonometry. So first let's refresh ourselves on what SOH means. That means that the ratio of sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And CAH means adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent, TOA, is going to be opposite over adjacent. And remember, we always want to circle our reference angles. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and go down here to these 4 steps. Circle your reference angle, ask yourself what pieces do you have, decide which trig function you're going to use, and then set up the problem and solve. So let's go ahead and try that down here with these problems. Looking at number 1, first let's circle the reference angle. Well, the only reference angle we have here is 18. Don't ever use the 90, by the way. Don't use that. Ask yourself what pieces of the triangle you have. We have an opposite here, and here we have hypotenuse. Okay, if we have opposite and hypotenuse, using SOHCAHTOA, which one has an O and an H? Which one has OH? Sine. So we go down here, and we would pick sine. So the sine of 18 equals the opposite, which is x, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 12. Now, if I want to get x alone, 12 is dividing into both sides, or 12 is dividing into this side. So to do the inverse, to undo it, we will multiply both sides by 12. And then on your calculator, you're going to do 12 times the sine of 18. Make sure that your mode is still in degrees. Okay, see how mine's in degrees? And then we're going to do 12 times the sine of 18. So 12 times the sine of 18. And when we do that, we have 3.708 blah, 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 blah. It says around the sides to the nearest tenth and the angles to the nearest degree. And we're solving for a side here. So we're going to round it to the nearest tenth. So this 0 will not change this 7. So 3.7 is going to be our answer. So our side is about 3.7. Now what I want you to do is try number 2 and try number 3 on your own. They're exactly like number 1, except you probably aren't going to use sine for them. So go ahead and try those 2 and bring those to class. Let's keep going. Let's look at number 4. On number 4, what angle did they give me? 26. So I circle the 26. Then I label what I know. Well, my opposite is here. It's 5. And I do have hypotenuse here, which is x. What deals with opposite and hypotenuse? What deals with opposite and hypotenuse? That's going to be sine. So we're going to take care of this using sine. So we use sine of 26 equals the opposite, which is 5, divided by the hypotenuse, which is x. Now, what's dividing in here? What's in our denominator? It's an x. So we want to multiply both sides by x to undo this dividing. And now we have x times the sine of 26 equals 5. And we have to get x alone. And what's being done to our x? It's being multiplied by the sine of 26. So to undo that, to do the inverse, we're going to divide by the sine of 26 on both sides. So divide by the sine of 26. So those will cancel, and we're going to type this into the calculator. Now we're finding a side, and they want us to round to the tenths. So we do 5 divided by the sine of 26. And we get 11.40. Now this 0 isn't going to do anything to this 4. So 11.4 is our answer. Let's do a problem like this again. Let's look at number 5. So circle the angle that they gave you, which is 72, and label your triangle. Well, we know the opposite here is 9. We don't know the hypotenuse, so we will not label it, but we do have an x here for our adjacent. What deals with opposite and adjacent? SOHCAHTOA. What deals with O and A? SOHCAHTOA. Tangent does. So the tangent of 72 is going to equal the opposite, which is 9, over our adjacent, which is x. Now the x is dividing in, so to undo that, we're going to multiply both sides by an x. And when we do that, we cross these out, and we have x times tangent of 72 equals 9. But we need to get x alone. And to get x alone, we'd have to undo what's going on. And tangent of 72 is multiplying, so we would divide both sides by the tangent of 72. both sides, tangent of 72. Cross these out, and we are finding a side here, so we're going to round to the tens. So we do 9 divided by the tangent of 72, and we'll round to the tens. This 2 will not affect this 9, so our answer here is just going to be 2.9. There we go. I'm going to ask that you do number 6 and bring number 6 with you to class. It's very much like number 4 and 5. So you could pause it now, you could do the problems, or you could wait to the end and go back and do them. I'm going to keep going though. Let's look at 7, 8, and 9. So on number 7, we're still going to circle our angle. Well, they didn't really give us an angle, but they did put an X here, so we're going to circle that. Then we're going to label what we know. We know our opposite, and we know our hypotenuse in this case. And if you think about SOHCAHTOA, which one of these will have opposite and hypotenuse? Opposite, hypotenuse, OH. This one's going to be sine. So we're going to have the sine of x equals the opposite, which is 9, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 14. Now wait a minute, you can't type sine x into your calculator. So this is when it tips you off. If you can't type that in the calculator, that's when you have to use inverse. So you're going to have to use your second key, or your shift, depending on your calculator. So I'm going to hit second, sine, and then I'm going to type in the fraction that they gave us. So 9 divided by 14. Now, since this is a degree, since this is an angle, we're going to round to the nearest degree. And this 0 will not affect anything. So this is just going to be 40 degrees. Just like that. All right? Let's look at number 8. Let's try this one out. So I circle my angle, and I label. I know my opposite. I do not know my hypotenuse, so I don't label it. And I know my adjacent. Which one of these deals with adjacent and hypotenuse? Sine, cosine, or tangent? An O and an A. Well, it looks like tangent to me. So tangent of x will equal our opposite, which is 16, divided by our adjacent, which is 7. And again, we can't type tangent x into the calculator. So that's when we know we have to use inverse. So we do the inverse tangent of 16 divided by 7. And then we're going to round to the nearest degree. This 3 will not affect this 6. So this x is just about 66 degrees. Just like that. I'm going to have you try number 9 for class, so go ahead and finish up number 9 and bring that in, and I'll go over it. And then I actually want to talk about these combination examples in class. If you want to try them, you can. I won't stop you. But you don't have to try these for class. I want to go over them with you. And then that's it. So finish up. Let's recap really quickly. Finish up number 2, 3, 6, and then also number 9 with your calculator. And then I'll go over 10 and 11 in class. Remember, you can always rewatch this if you don't understand what I did or if I went too fast. And until then, see you in class.